Oh, that is going to be really cool to test. Because we'll test the light on that too, which sometimes those make a kind of freaky, ghostly type sounds on my light meter. All right. So let's put this on your pillow and tell me what number you get.
0.31.
Okay, so that's good. Hey, last time I was here, you guys had bunk beds. You switched it around.
Now we also have a mural.
Cool. All right. And you got your lizard. Do you have a bearded dragon or what's in there? Oh, yep. Cool.
We can see how much EMF the bearded dragon produces.
Maybe the lamp's producing it.
Never know. Might be a mutant radiated dragon.
So what's 0.31 or
Now, as you're going through and testing this, do you are you also testing the lighting? Are you doing flicker analysis, or is that something you do at a different time?
Yeah. So I'll usually I'll do the flicker and the magnetic fields at the same time. Usually when I do recordings like this, I kind of, to make it less confusing, I try not to jump around too much.
Yeah.
But we'll do a little spot.
Well, you know best how your approach is going to come across on the podcast or the audio or the video. So yeah, let's do the stuff that the audience is going to benefit the most from and be the least confused by as we go.
Actually, because we just talked about that light, the boys were wanting me to test their little orb light over here. So we will.
All sorts of little devices we can test here.
So yeah. So first we'll test over by the window, and I'll just show you guys because we're going to test flicker now.
Okay. And I believe in this room, in the boys' room, we at one time had a dirty electricity filter plugged into one of the outlets.
These lights, we changed them though because they ran out.
Okay. Okay, so there's no longer a dirty electricity filter in this room. Well, there was at one time.
Yeah, there's only kind of high bunk beds here.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the electric stuff right there.
Okay. So this meter, it does measure wireless frequencies, but it also has a setting for measuring flicker. It has this little solar receiving device. It looks like a little mini solar panel on the back of the meter here. And so you just point this towards the light source to test whether it's flickering or not. And so what do you guys think? Is sunlight good or bad for you?
It's good. Sometimes. Both good and bad.
Both
good to a certain extent.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's good, right? It's natural. It's something that we've always had. That we've always had for all of human history. And we need it. And I don't know, Ben, have you interviewed Dr. Wunsch before, right?
Alexander Wunsch, I have not. Well, you know what? A long time ago, I think I did have a podcast with him on lighting.
Okay.
Interestingly, in 3 days, Matt Maruka, who I have interviewed quite a bit about lighting, he'll be here at the house. He's dropping in to record a podcast.
Cool.
But I've interviewed him about lighting. Alexander Wunsch some time ago, another guy named Daniel Jorge, who developed that Iris software about more lighting on backlit lighting from monitors, from screens, etc. So yeah, I have a few different lighting podcasts out there.
Cool. So one of the things that Dr. Wunsch talks about, I think he talked about in an interview with Dr. Mercola, is that 2/3 of your ATP production comes from light, from the near-infrared wavelengths that you get from sunlight. Now, what I want you guys to think about is, let's see, what's going on here? I'm getting a little flux here. Let me see if there's... Okay, so this is measuring the flickering of light. So sunlight, this is what it sounds like. It sounds like just a hiss. There's not much of anything, right? So, yeah, let's go ahead and turn that on. So we got it. So we've got an incandescent source. Now this bulb is running on 60 hertz electricity. So that's 120 back and forth pulses per second where it's giving the light electricity. It's heating up the filament, and so it doesn't cool down, it cools down in between those pulses, and that's the flickering that we're hearing.
And so this red incandescent light that the boys are using at night while they read, are you saying that that is producing this imperceptible flicker that could actually be deleterious to retinal function or mitochondria?
It can be kind of stimulating. So what I always like to go back to is what did we have in nature?
Mm-hmm.
And the only flickering light that you have in nature is, if you can imagine being in a jungle with the sunlight coming through the leaves, and you're running. So if you're running
from a jaguar,
if you're running from a jaguar, this is the kind of flicker that you have, like this. And that's not, I can't do it as fast as what this light is going like.
Right. And so is there a way to reduce the amount of flicker from a red incandescent light, for example?
If you switch to a DC source, you can.
And how would you switch to a DC source?
It'd be really hard to do that. You'd have to have a battery hooked up and know how to wire it right.
And so if you were a little boy laying in bed, reading a book at night, and you still wanted to be able to see your book, what do you think would be the very, very best solution for something like that?
Well, actually, if I could have one of you boys run downstairs on the table, there's some light bulbs. There's about 3 light bulbs. If you could grab those.
Here are the rocks, by the way.
So we do have a solution for that. So I love incandescent bulbs. They have a full spectrum of those healing wavelengths that we were just talking about, the near-infrared wavelengths from 600 to 1200 nanometers. But we also are concerned about the flicker. So the spectrum is good on this bulb, but the flicker is something that's a little bit problematic. So at night in nature, we don't have any blue light, right? We know that. So we're going to take this incandescent red bulb out, and we're going to put in this one. This is a red bulb that's a LED bulb, but it's a special type of LED bulb that does not flicker. And it doesn't have a full spectrum.
So this is a special LED bulb that doesn't produce flicker, and we're actually getting less flicker from this than a red incandescent bulb.
Right.
So you like these better than red incandescent?
I like them for nighttime.
For nighttime. And what kind of bulb is this?
This there's 2 different brands that me and my team have tested. This one's a Duracell brand that you can get from like Battery and Bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a red light. And there's another brand called Sunlight non-dimmable bulbs that you can get on Amazon, and we recommend yellow, orange, and red bulbs, depending on what you're going for and what people can tolerate. Some people don't like just the red; they feel like they can't see enough. I think it's enough for reading, and it's the best because it blocks out the green and the blue.
And do you include something like that in your report?
Yes.
The change up for the bulbs in the bedroom, for example.
Yep.
So we'll be able to just go through afterwards, look at your report, and say, okay, we need to switch these bulbs out. These incandescents that we thought were superior, which they might be for circadian rhythm, are also producing this imperceptible flicker that something like this LED lighting is not.
Yeah.
And that just looking at it, doesn't it look, guys, a little bit softer, the light itself? Cool. Well, we'll be doing some lighting switches, it looks like. Yeah.
Perfect.
And so just a caveat on that, the incandescent bulb is providing a full spectrum of wavelengths. This LED bulb is maybe 10 to 20 nanometers wide, so it's not providing healing wavelengths, but at night we don't really need those if we've gotten that during the day by being outside, or you have some other kind of light therapy that you're doing.
Right, so as long as you've been out in the sunlight, you're not going to get your full spectrum of light from something like a non-red incandescent bulb, but you're also not going to produce that type of imperceptible flicker that is a concern unless it's running off a DC current.
Right, yeah. And so
Easy.
you can actually tolerate more flicker during the day because you are out, our ancestors were out hunting during the day.
Yeah.
And they are getting that flicker from the sunlight as they're running after an animal or from an animal, right? So that's one type of bulb. This bulb here is another constant, and these bulbs are called constant current bulbs. So they have constant current technology. It converts the alternating current to a DC current in the bulb itself. So this one is a bulb that is a white bulb, but it's got about 2700 Kelvin. And let's see, where's the...
Whoa, bright.
So this one's this is more like task lighting. So this is something your dad might use downstairs when he's working.
And this is also LED.
This is also an LED. So what I like
But that also is not producing the same amount of flicker. So when we go down to my office, we should test and see. Although now it's, what was that? Weird.
Oh, is it that? It might be the gun. It might be the ones in there.
sometimes infrared light does that. Interesting what's going on here. And one thing I have noticed when I'm testing different bulbs is the fixture is very important to test, because sometimes the fixture will make it so that it is flickering. And this one in particular, this is a bulb that I used at home. It's an LED bulb that I tested, and at first it had a really high flicker rate, but then after it warmed up a little bit, it went way back down. And since I've tested it at home in that fixture, I haven't been able to test it anywhere else where the flicker died down. So I don't know if this is.
Well, whenever I put bulbs in this lamp, they do get like pretty hot. So.
Yeah, this lamp. Let's see, what does it say? It's
It says my lamp. Yeah, it does say my lamp.
max 9-watt LED bulb.
Taking furious notes here, even though I know you provide a pretty good report. There's little things I'm jotting down. That
So
are
this one flickers a
super
lot
interesting.
initially, and then at my house, after about 2 minutes, it stops flickering. It kind of dies down. So I don't know if that's going to happen here or not, but I'm just going to leave this here while we test some other stuff, and we'll see if that changes at all.
Okay.
All right. Can probably turn it down a little bit.
And these, by the way, some company, you know, like I said, we're always getting these kind of like protective devices. This one is called a Tesla Rock Bag. Stay protected against EMF. Contains crystals with powerful healing benefits. There's a Faraday cage. It says place bag on floor to create a Faraday cage in your home, office, or on the go. The more bags, the greater the protection. Place one under the bed for improved dreams and deeper sleep.
That's what I do.
What say you, Brian?
Well,
A Faraday cage full of another bag in it that has rocks in it.
I'd say this
An inner bag of what are called pink Tesla crystals.
I've never heard of that, but this bag itself is a Faraday cage, so I don't know how you don't really create a Faraday cage unless you're completely surrounded with a conductive material.
No, this very clearly says it creates a Faraday cage around your entire home or around one person.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Oh. You mean just because it's written doesn't mean it's true?
I guess.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I can't believe it. I thought everything we see on the TV and the
I thought
media
everything was
written
if it was
down.
written, it must be true, because otherwise, how did it get published?
The authorities would never let that happen.
No. Interesting. Okay, and really, the only way to test this would be similar to what we did downstairs, where you flip on a phone, you put this device between you and the phone, and you see if the amount of radiation that you're testing for your body's radiation is just as high with this in front of you, between you and the phone, as if it were removed, for example.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to do
Should we
anything.
try it?
We can try it.
Okay, let's try it. So I'm going to set my phone down in front of this bag. Phone, taking it out of airplane mode. Okay, and I'm going to stand here. And I've got this lav mic in a Faraday bag, so we'll find out.
Yeah, I need to it's maxing out. I don't want to blow up the meter. I've blown up meters testing things like that before. So this one's my most sensitive one, so I actually have to go down and grab another one.
But we're going to test it, Taryn. We're going to find out.
But what we can do in the meantime...
Have you gotten more lucid dreaming with that thing under your bed? You know what's crazy is they sent me one too, and I did put it behind my pillow, and I did dream more, but I don't know if it was just the placebo effect of me subconsciously knowing that thing was under my pillow.
Right, right. It's hard to tell sometimes.
I kept dreaming I was eating rocks, and then I woke up and the bag was empty.
Okay, guys, we're going to do a little bit of a distraction here. We're going to move to do electric fields, and I'm going to have you guys just test things around the room, and then when I come back, tell me what you found, okay? So I need both of you. I've got two things that test electric fields, this and this. So in order to test it, you have to actually be touching the grounding device. Okay? So I'll give that to you, and you can have that one. And then
33 VM. Okay.
and then
You
if
have that grounding device plugged into the wall. Okay, so it is grounded.
yeah, that's
Okay,
grounded,
cool.
plugged into the wall there.
So River, when you're holding that thing, you are grounded.
So what you could test your brother, you can test where the cord is for the lamp, test
Just test
everything.
things that are plugged in your room.
You can test. You can use
You
this
can
to
test
test too. Just
Godzilla's
hold
bulbs.
just hold this down, and you can test that too. Okay.
Okay, let's go.
You can test using that meter. I'm gonna go down and get some more equipment. I'll be right back.
Which is not like the lights in there. Or am I just holding it too hard? Do I just like touch it? Yeah, whenever I squeeze it. And what about?
Getting anything? Seen a spike anywhere?
That one's got kind of go to the light does. How does this turn on? I don't know. The desk over here is pretty good. How does this one turn on?
Well, you just have to press the button and test things. So it has to have the sensitivity all the way up. See that button right there?
Oh, this button.
Yep. That's it.
Extensive research says that these lights are bad.
All right. One more thing.
Let me get that on video.
Extensive research.
Brothers, your extensive meter testing showing any issues here? So you're grounded. You're holding that to your grounded. Good. Uh-oh. Godzilla. So what's that tell you guys? If you were working at your desk over there all day, and these lights were on behind you, you're basically getting a bunch of electromagnetic radiation that is emitting over on your body while you're over there working on your laptop. So we should figure out what we could do to Godzilla's bulbs to fix that. And I'm sure somebody here might know what to do about that.
We'll figure it out.
Even like the computers.
Yeah.
Hey, babe. We already found some pretty cool things about lighting.
So like 5 computers.
Yeah, like these red incandescent bulbs, they're actually producing like a lot of kind of flicker. And there's a better bulb system we can use for some of these bulbs. Yeah, like for when the kids are reading at night and stuff.
So the computers think
It's a bulb. Yeah.
Okay.
and the boombox a little bit.
Yep. So all the stuff that's plugged in, right? Is that what you're kind of finding?
Yeah.
All right. So anything that's plugged in, it's bringing that electricity closer to your body. And what we really, the ultimate test that we want to do is test your own body for this voltage. So you guys are spending a lot of time sleeping in this room. This is your bedroom. So you sleep here for like what, 8 to 9, 10 hours a night?
9 to 7 usually.
Okay.
9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Yeah, that's about how long you guys sleep. 9 p.m. to 7 a.m.
All right. So
Not getting up at 4 a.m. to do Murph yet.
Dude, I had one client in Texas. You know, Ancestral Supplements Company.
Oh yeah, Brian.
Yeah, Brian Johnson. His boys, they get up in the morning. They do lunges. Like I was there in the morning, and they were all doing lunges around the room, and they have a whole workout.
Brian's got an interesting protocol. He and his wife also do like a 5-day strict fast every month that they begin with this super hardcore workout. And I think they end it with a super hardcore workout just to simulate what our hunter-gatherers would have experienced. And like there are certain things where it just doesn't sound like a pleasant way to live. I get it, but I'd just rather go hunting.
Yeah, they're
pretty extreme.
They've
It's the same guy who does the
some,
barbarian workout where he'll take. This is the guy who sends me the liver supplements that I take from Ancestral Supplements. He has the barbarian workout where you hold 2 kettlebells and drag a sled for a mile, loaded down with, I think the sled has 135 pounds on it. You're holding 2 70-pound kettlebells, 20-pound ankle weights, and a 70-pound backpack, and you just go a mile. And apparently everybody who works for that company has to do that test just to even be able to work for that company.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just recently got done shielding a lot of their house. They just had moved last
River
year.
and Taryn have workouts every single day, but not at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
No,
Unless you really want to.
I didn't. So.
Oh, you found something.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, real quick, let's test that light because that's one of the things we wanted to test. So the different lights in the room. So we got these lights.
It goes way up and you touch it.
Okay, let's listen to it. Yeah, you can hear.
That sounds like popcorn being popped.
It's almost like a miniature biocharger, that thing. I should show you the biocharger downstairs when we get there.
Oh yeah, we should try it on the.
Well, we know the biocharger produces a ton of
Listen to that.
magnetic fields and electrical fields, but they're supposed to be healing frequencies. Wow. Now, what would change if you were to, for example, plug that into a dirty electricity filter? Or, as you can see, it's not grounded. If you were to plug it into a grounding outlet, you think it'd be better?
Better on the flicker.
Better on the flicker or the amount of electrical field it'd produce.
The electric field, yeah. If it was actually, that looks like it's USB powered. So, what's
Which
interesting?
is better.
Yeah. Let's.
It's not battery powered.
So if something is powered by USB, it's less problematic.
It can be.
What
We
is
just
this
need to
button?
find something metal here.
What's this button do?
Here, you take that. I'm gonna ground your body here.
By the way, important question for our videographer. If I take a pee, is it going to pick that up? If I walk away down to the bathroom and take a pee, are we going to pick that up on the video? Do I have a mute button on here?
Yes, you do.
Okay, good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, keep testing. Proceed. Dad's going to hit the mute on myself so I can go and
Touch it, it goes to
take a
Alright.
quick leak here.
So
Boom.
watch if I touch this. Okay, you just need to touch that and with your hand and then test it. So screw is not working on that. Let me just see about this. If I ground this, test this cord there.
What do you mean?
Wait.
Do I just like hold it next to it?
Yeah, test the.
It's only
But
like-
you need to ground your body too.
Oh, I need to do it. So I need to touch it too.
Yep. So then test this cord right here.
Am I touching it?
With test it with that, but touch
Touch this?
this part. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So we got this field over here that we're getting from
Or
that.
it's
So
like this.
yeah, here. Let me see.
Is there anything? I'm sorry, I got the wrong date, no idea.
That versus. See? So what we can do with this, because it's USB powered, I'm gonna turn that off for a minute. Because it's USB powered, you can plug that into an external power bank. And that's a battery like you can use for your phone. You can use that to charge your phone. And then anything that has a USB, it's using DC current.
Well, this charges the phone.
Yeah, that would normally charge the phone, but see, it doesn't have a grounding part. So even though this is transforming the energy from the pulsating current to a smooth, straight current, where it doesn't flicker, it's not pulsing, and it's running off of a battery. So the Earth is like a battery; it has DC, direct current, coming in one direction. Lightning strikes are just an arc from the atmosphere going down to the lower ground potential. So going and then like flashing lightning, and it's like static electricity. Like if you go down a plastic slide at a playground,
It shocks you. It hurts.
and then you touch your brother, you can shock him. But if he touches the ground first, you can't shock him, right?
Yeah.
So you have to stay on the plastic slide, and then the electricity goes to the lower ground potential.
So basically, if everybody was going to go, if everybody went down this giant slide and didn't touch the ground, and then they all touched the ground, like lightning bolts.
Have you ever done that with multiple people going down a slide? If you have a bunch of people go down like a big plastic slide, and don't touch the ground. And then you kind of get that static electricity where your hair goes up. One time I did that to my dad with my kids, and we were going with my girls. We were going down this huge slide, and at the bottom I touched his nose, and we could see a lightning bolt go like about 3 inches from my finger to his nose, and he was like, "Ow!" It hurt really, really bad. So like.
You're on the bleachers and you're like
So
shuffling
we
your
went
feet.
to this basketball camp, and for some reason, if you went to the top of the bleachers and you shuffled your feet all the way across, and then you touched them, you could see the electricity.
Yeah.
If you touch the metal railing on top of it, you could like see the electricity like shock you really hard.
Yep, that's what happens, and that's kind of what happens with the sky. The sky builds up all this it's kind of like static electricity, and then when it builds up enough, it's like the metal or the earth is kind of conductive, so it'll come down and it'll transfer the energy back down. There's a really cool YouTube video of these guys doing a slow motion lightning bolt recording that I watched a few days ago.
Oh wow.
It was really cool. You could see the lightning would go to the side, and then all of a sudden, boom! It would like have one big strike onto the ground.
How would you
Wow.
like slow? It goes so fast. How would you like? How slow would they have to be going?
Well, you guys should try to slow-mo film the biocharger downstairs sometime, which will do like 1,000 lightning bolt strikes in a second. See if you can capture any of those on the camera.
That'd be fun. So yeah, with this thing, anything that has a USB, I was telling them you can plug that into like one of those power bank chargers, and then it just is running on DC.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's from what I understand. Like if you were, say, going to sleep all night with your phone charged, yet in airplane mode next to your bed, better off plugging it into an external battery than, say, just into an outlet in the wall.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you plug that in, and then you keep it on airplane mode, and then you can still. A lot of people use their phones as alarms, or in a shielded room. Like I do a lot of assessments for doctors and nurses that need to be on call. They can put that in the windowsill behind the shielded curtain, and then they can still receive phone call and be protected. From
That's
from
a
the
good
Oh,
idea.
wireless signals.
It's a good idea.
You need like a shielded phone room where you call
Yeah, you just need like a good external battery for your phone that'll last most of the night and keep it charged up, and then have your phone plugged into that instead of into the wall outlet.
Yep.
That'll be a new one for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A simple change, but it's just that much less dirty EMF in the room.
And then for lamps, there's a little remote switch that we use. It's got one Wi-Fi signal. Just when you press the button, it'll turn off the power to the entire cord, and then you don't have that electric field right next to you, and you don't have to keep unplugging lamps every single night.
Oh, that's a good idea. Will you include that in your recommendations?
Yep.
Amazing.
Wait,
Yeah.
Wow.
what do you mean like you?
And you could do that for Godzilla too.
Everything Brian recommends to us, because Dad actually, I reached out to Brian after reading Dr. Mercola's new book, EMF, and I told him, look, I've decided that we will make an investment to go even more all out than we have in the past with EMF. So we're pretty much doing everything that Brian recommends on his report. We're going to do soup to nuts in our house and just change everything, every little thing that needs adjustment. We're gonna do it all. Dad's been saving a little bit of money on the side to make sure that we can just take care of our whole house.
You've used the phrase soups and nuts the second time.
I like the phrase soup to nuts. We could think of something different. We'll say soup to seeds.
Ducks.
Yeah. Some people might have oxalate sensitivities and not want so many of the nuts. So what are we testing now here?
So this is the body voltage. That's the same thing that we were measuring all around the room with the electricity.
So is this where we're going to test the
wires.
bag now?
Yeah, we can test. Let's see. The bag says stay protected against EMF. And here's the issue with a lot of these devices. If they claim that they protect you from all kinds of EMF, wireless, electric fields, magnetic fields, geopathic stressors, that doesn't make sense to me, because every single one of those things has a different solution, a different way to mitigate
Right.
it.
It's like the fringe Amazonian superfood that says it's going to cure cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, everything.
Everything.
Yeah, to reduce all-cause risk of mortality, and your eyebrow goes up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this even more so because it's just like, it's science. This is how you fix this issue. It's a different way to fix the other issue. It's
The dog kennel.
Okay.
it just
so,
doesn't make that much
So
sense.
what's your body voltage meter at right now, son?
Here, we'll
2
test.
point. because I can flip my cell phone on.
It's like 170 to 180. But watch this. If I touch
And
the
theoretically,
dog
if I switch my cell phone on,
panel, if I touch the Dad. If I
We'll
touch
just
the dog panel, watch
Test
this.
everything here.
okay.
Dad.
No, my cell phone's off right now.
Oh, if I touch the dog panel, it goes up.
Yeah, well, the dog kennel might be a little bit of a conductive
We're
material.
going to put all these things measuring wireless frequencies.
Okay. So we're testing another EMF blocking device. And now, want me to put my cell phone out of airplane mode?
Yeah.
And what we should see is nothing should really spike that much, right?
They have all spikes. Oh my. Oh my.
Everything just goes through the roof.
Even my no. Oh wait.
How's your body voltage, though? Are you protected over there?
Let me touch your
Wait,
phone.
let me see your body voltage, because
Same thing.
if your body voltage didn't go up, well, see, now the device is not between you and the phone, right? So that's the idea, is we're testing
But what happens
whether
if you turn Wi-Fi on?
you'll see a significant increase if you flip the Wi-Fi signal on that on.
But I already spiked, so. Yeah, there you go.
So what are you seeing here, Brian?
Seen a lot of frequencies.
But most of these are coming from the phone, yeah? Because I put
Phone
my
and-
phone into airplane mode.
Wow.
Everything.
A lot of them drop down.
Yeah.
But s- okay. Now flip back off.
Yeah, wow.
I'm not seeing any change there.
Me neither. Well, actually, if you hold it to the bag, I saw it go down on it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a
So,
little bit of a block. But you'd have to have like a giant wall of this.
yeah, you need this
Yeah.
right here.
You'd need like like a full-on like tent made out of that material.
Yeah. So this is we've got a new the first organic shielding fabric that's coming
Is
out
that what that
at
is?
the end of the month. This is not organic version. This is a prototype.
Oh,
of
this
just
isn't the boys.
cotton.
You brought that up here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So watch
This
this.
will be interesting. Oh, wow. See that? Now that thing's totally protected. So if you were a person and you had that wrapped around your body,
Somebody got coats out of that.
then that would be the game changer right there, right?
Yeah. Here, let's just put all of these
They're all quieted down.
things in here.
Oh, wow. So one could get like a blanket made out of this type of shielding fabric?
And it's soft too.
Yeah, blanket or
It is pretty soft.
Can I feel
I
it?
could sleep in that.
Not easily.
we do a canopy around the bed. You have a seamstress that sews these
I don't know
up.
if my wife's going to go for that.
I'd go for it.
You guys could get a canopy.
There's one company in the Bay
get you a
Area.
canopy if you
they
want a
have these
canopy.
fabric walls, and they just bought a bunch of the shielding fabric to do
Yeah.
the walls
Yeah.
and fabric.
Well, like I mentioned to you, if we wind up needing to do certain painting or fabric on the walls, like, you know, we're going I'm gonna say it third time, soup to nuts on this thing.
You have that phrase memorized by the end of this podcast.
So this is silver and cotton fabric,
Okay,
and it can be grounded too.
you guys keep going. I'm gonna press mute on my mic real quick because I have to listen to a quick audio voicemail that I got blasted with as we were testing that. So I'll be right back. You guys keep
All right,
going.
so you're at 1.5. I also want to test the body current. Here, we'll turn some of these guys off.
Should I take off the screen thing? No.
Oh, you can turn it.
Should I take off the screen? No.
Oh, no, yeah, you can leave that on. It's to protect it from being scratched and stuff. Okay, so you got 4 microamps. Touch that metal cage again. Okay, so that's conducting some current to your body when you touch that. But if you don't touch it, then it's not. So have you lay up all the way up in your bed. Let's see if there's any difference with you guys up in your bed.
My bed, up in my bed.
It's a little bit less, 2.3. We want this to be 0. This number, if it's at 18, there's some government studies that show it's a carcinogenic level at 18 microamps. You're way below that. You're at like 2 to 3.
Yeah. Is that good?
It's good. It's better, but we want it to be at 0.
Yeah.
if you're out in nature, it's going to be 0. There's no pulsating, alternating current.
How's mine?
We can go. We might go outside later. Yeah.
How's mine? Let's see.
So and you're little over 2,000 millivolts. Now you're almost up at 3,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unplug this lamp and tell me if that goes down. You want to unplug it? Went down a little bit. So you can unplug things in the room. That helps. Is there something plugged in over there? Wow, look at that. Went down to 1.2. So it was like
Oh wow.
way, way higher. It went down to like half of what it was just from unplugging those two things. So it's still 1,200 millivolts. That's still way higher than where we want to be. We want to be down at 10 millivolts, and you're at 1,200. So if you imagine...
Try unplugging Godzilla's stuff for a second.
Yeah, his stuff's over there, so you could unplug some of that. But if you think about, okay,
It got down to
0.8, 0.7.
7. Whoa. So
Okay.
stuff has
Just try unplugging
So
every plug
it looks like Godzilla's going to need a little bit of an EMF upgrade here.
We might need to give him his own Faraday cage.
Yeah, Godzilla needs a Faraday cage.
Okay, where's it at now? Still at it.
So he's at like a 0.8. So the rest of this is just coming from the wiring in the walls.
So basically, Godzilla's cage causes.
Yeah, Godzilla's
a
cage
lot.
seems to cause
These
like
lamps
1,000.
in Godzilla's cage, yeah.
So we'll include in the report some things we could do with that cage to make it safer.
Yeah, well, essentially what we want to do for the boys is we want to have some kind of grounding material underneath the bed to protect the voltage from traveling along the floor. It needs to kind of suck up that voltage. Because right now, right now you're like 800 or 900. You can just kind of see where the voltage is coming from
Wow.
your body. And it's all, it's coming from the wall here. This wall over here is really high.
Wow.
And now watch what happens when...
And so this is the whole night you guys are asleep. That is going on right inside your cells.
Yeah. So think about like our ancestors, they were out in nature and they were camping in caves and mud huts and stone structures that they built.
Here we are.
And we didn't have any electricity around them. So it'd be like if you go camping and your dad pulls up to like a primitive campsite and then he sees, oh, look, there's an outlet right there. Plug in an extension cord after you pitch your tent, wrap that extension cord all the way around the tent, under the tent, up over the tent. Does that seem like a healthy place to camp after you do that?
That tastes like a house, kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly like a house. That was actually where I was going next.
Yep.
So that's exactly what we've done in all of our modern homes is we've surrounded ourselves in this pulsating electricity, and all night long while we're trying to sleep, our muscles are doing these micro contractions, just pulsing 120 times per second. And what do you do at night? What's nighttime?
Sleep time.
Sleep time for your body. What does your body do during sleep?
Regenerate.
That's right. Yeah, it regenerates. So are you going to be able to regenerate that well if your body's constantly contracting?
Well, because it's kind of working still. So
Yeah.
And so the solution then would be to ground the beds and also potentially include some type of a shielding fabric on the walls or around the beds.
Yeah, so we have this conductive shielding paint that we recommend for the walls and then curtains for the windows to block out all the frequencies.
Amazing.
close our curtains.
And
Yeah, we like never close our window. I haven't closed
yeah, so this is pretty sheer. Here, go ahead and pull that fabric up like it's a curtain over the window, just one
But
layer
if
of
if
it.
you knew that your body was going to repair that much better while you were asleep, you probably would, right? Use something like this because you still get some lighting in.
Yeah, let's see.
Your foot is really higher, right?
Actually, that's not too bad. Like for nighttime, for example, especially, we could easily just have something like that's built into the curtain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can sew it onto the back of curtains. You can use this as a
Maybe not
sheer-
quite as good of a view when you're sleeping at night, but
curtain
you're
itself.
asleep, and your body will heal better.
Yeah,
It's a great idea.
So one thing I would recommend actually on your guys, I hope you don't mind, I'm gonna stand on your beds,
And we don't.
but
That's what we do.
like you can do a curtain, that's great, but you also have these screens here already in place, and these are fiberglass. If these were a metal screen, that would provide some extra shielding as well.
Right.
So
Okay.
for a lot of people, if they have, especially if you have the metal trim or on the windows on the outside, the metal screen replacement, if it's a full screen like that, will help. And then there's also some people we recommend a window film. Here it wouldn't make as much sense because we got the wood trim. So if you're going to paint here, you're not going to paint the wood trim.
Yeah.
You just want to make sure the curtain covers that whole area, because it's essentially like you're trying to create a shield. Like if you take a submarine down in the water, you don't want any leaks, right? Because there's all this pressure.
That's all ruined.
Right. So if there's a weak point that lets some of that in, if the EMF is like with the water, it'll leak in, right? And in a submarine you would die instantly. So with this stuff, you want to kind of think of it like you're in a submarine and you're trying to shield from water, and the water's like the radio frequencies that are leaking in. It can come up from below, it can come up through a crack. You want to try to get as good of a seal as possible.
With the important thing here being that, we can't necessarily, as we're living our lives in this modern world, protect ourselves anywhere and everywhere we go. But in a place where, for example, we'll be spending preferably like a third of our lives asleep in bed, it makes sense that in those places where we can control, we should.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it's what I call the most important time, because it's when your body's in what's called a parasympathetic state. You're in this restful state and this reparative mode. And so when you're sleeping, when you're eating, you're supposed to be in a parasympathetic state so your body can digest, and your vagus nerve tells all of your organs to relax and produce these digestive juices, whether it's hydrochloric acid, bile, or pancreatic enzymes. Whatever it is, that vagus nerve needs to be relaxed so that your body can actually digest its food, and you can get the food moving through, and the peristalsis and relaxation of the entire digestive system. So sleeping, eating, and then also detoxing. So when you're detoxing, that's actually a parasympathetic process. Your body prioritizes detox when it's able to not be perceiving external
which is
threat.
important, for example, something like a sauna, because a lot of people will go into a sauna for some of the detoxification that occurs through the skin.
Yes.
And so you'd want to make sure that your sauna is also not getting blasted with EMF or ELF.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
I noticed though, like the more you're in the room, if you're in the walls, it goes really high. But if you're in the middle of the room, it goes down.
Yeah, it's the wiring in the
There
walls.
you go. So
Yep.
let's do this test. Have Dad hold this,
Okay.
and then you guys have one of you touch the wall here, and then you hold his hand.
I'll hold your hand.
All right?
Okay, so what am I at? 1.65.
All right.
Let go.
And you can let go.
0.4.
Wow.
See that?
Amazing. So even people can act as antennae.
Yeah. So that electricity
Or
is flowing
as
through your...
more appropriately conductors.
Yep.
Wow. Crazy.
So that's why it's important to have a grounded barrier between you and the electricity, because it won't come out of the wall.
Excuse me.
When all of this is shielded and grounded, this wall will be
Touch the
zero.
wall and be like at 0.
Yeah, the wall will be zero. There's not going to be anything emanating from the wall.
So that's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to shield and ground
We're gonna
you.
paint our whole
So while your precious bodies are asleep, we'll either do the paint, or we'll do the shielding fabric, or we're just going to do whatever Brian recommends on his final walkthrough analysis.
Okay.
So yeah,
Here it'll probably be a combination, because you guys got these nice wood floors and trim.
we'll take care of Godzilla too.
Will the mural be gone?
And you know what's cool
No.
is even the dogs are going to like it, because the dogs sleep in here. Pets get exposed to EMF too.
Yep.
That's right.
We got 3 animals. So we
Wow.
can be safer.
Lots of stuff.